Y'all, Valentine's Day is coming up. Aren't these cut out honey bun wrappers so cute? If you want to learn how to make these, stay tuned. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So the first thing that we're going to do today is we're going to open up canva.com. You're going to type in for your custom size 11 by 8.5 inches. And that's going to bring you up your design here. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm adding in a square from the elements section. I'm going to measure out 8 inches wide by 7.5 inches long. That is the measurements that I was trying to use for these honey buns. So right now I'm just making a basically a blank template to print out, just to double check with my honey buns that I got, and make sure that it will wrap all the way around the item and it would be long enough for me to glue and cut as well. So guys, you're going to go ahead and open up your Cricut design space, hit a new project. And what I did was I got a Valentine's Day background from the internet. You can choose any background that you like. I just picked this one and I'm saving it as a print then cut image. Then you're going to upload it into your design space. Here I'm typing out the measurements, 8 inches wide by 7.5 inches long, and it ends up that this design is going to be a little bit too big for Cricut to cut later, but I'll show you how I fixed that. Okay, so the first thing that I'm doing is that I'm grabbing a square rectangle and I'm going to measure out 4 by 7.5 so that I can have an area for the middle. My honey bun was measuring about 3.75 inches, so I wanted to get a square that was about 4 inches so that I know that the front of my package will cover the entire honey bun. And this is just for me to use as a template. I don't print it out this way. So now you see me adding the font or the text honey and bun. So now I'm just sizing the two fonts here the way that I want them to look, and you can choose any of the fonts that you like for the honey and the bun. For the honey, I chose the blueberry pancake font. The bun font is BFC Fly Time, and again, you can use any font that looks similar to the actual honey bun logo design. I just wasn't liking the PNG that I found. So here you see me just making sure that I like the font the way that it is and just adjusting things to the way that I like it. I'm changing the font to see if I actually like it to Black Widow, and I didn't, so I hit undo. And now I'm sizing the honey on top of the bun the way that I feel like it should match from edge to edge. And here I am just making sure that the honey and the bun are aligned in the center. So I'll be grouping them together and clicking the align button to center horizontally. Now I'm going to go in with offsets for both the words honey and bun. So you're going to click your offset icon, and right now I am giving the honey a 0.06 offset in the color black. And I'm going to do the same thing to the word bun here. And now what I'm doing next is that I'm going to go ahead and group my honey and my honey's offset together so that if I choose to move them, they will be together and I won't just pick up just the red or just the black. So I'm going to click the group button to go ahead and group those together. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the bun as well. But now I'm going to add a second offset in 0.07, and I'm going to add the color green to mimic the leaf petals on the rose background that I chose. And now I'm just playing around with the bun green offset for whatever reason. It wasn't working for me at first, so I was making it bigger and bigger. And that's only because the green offset was coming in front of the black offset for whatever reason. So I didn't really realize that I didn't have to make it as large as I did, but it ended up turning out fine. But here you see me using my offset icon and button, and I'm going to make the offset 0.011. And I'm changing the color again to the same color green to mimic the leaves of the roses. And now I'm looking in my groups and my items on my right hand side just to see why my green offset isn't showing. And I'm still new to Cricut design, so I didn't really realize that it was just behind the two black ones, and I didn't realize I had two black ones either at this time. Now I'm going in and clicking my bun, and I'm going to add another offset, guys, since I was kind of like frustrated here. And I'm going to make it 0.208 and change the color to green. Because as you can see, the bun letters are a lot thicker than the honey. So this worked for me to make it this big. And I wanted my honey to sit on top of the bun here. And now I'm going in and I'm grouping all of the buns offset layers together, so that if I do pick up the bun, all three layers come together. Just double checking that they're together. Now I'm going to group all the honey bun and its layers and the bun and its layers together to add an additional offset around both of the words. And I'm making this offset the color white so that it blends in with the white background. So when I go to cut that, it all is a part of the same design. So again, I'm just making sure that that green offset is in the correct position, and I'm bringing it to the front behind the black offset. And again, this gray rectangle is just for me to make sure that it's in the correct area that I want when I go to print it out and wrap it around my honey bun. Now I'm typing out, "Will you be my?" And this is going to go towards the top of the honey bun wrapper. And I'm going to size it the way that I like. And I'm going to change the color here to the color red, so that it matches the other words and the roses in our design. And I'm just getting it sized. And I'm going to add the question mark to the bottom of the wrapper design. And then I'm going to go ahead and change this to the red color as well. Now I'm just checking out my design here. And y'all let me know if y'all like this design. I just thought that this would be a nice background here. Because I thought I had enough space for the middle part to be white so that I could put some font on it. to do this cutout. Now I'm changing the question mark font to the BFC, and I think it says FIR time, FIR. So my apologies in the beginning of the video when I said the font was fly time. BFC fly time is BFC FIR time. Okay, and now I'm just getting everything aligned the way that I think it should look. Sometimes when you do your alignment in the middle, it'll kind of like be off like how mine's was, and sometimes alignment doesn't always mean exactly correct. So I'm just going to manually align it the way that I think it should be, because the honey is leaning a little bit towards the left side. So we are just going to align this the way that I feel like it should go. Now I'm going to take some pictures of me and my boyfriend. Look at us, we so cute, y'all. And I'm going to download those from my email here. And I'm not going to use all the pictures. These were just a few options that I was thinking about. And just going to download those pictures to my computer, and then I'm going to use one of my favorite websites, y'all, which is Remove BG. It removes the backgrounds to most pictures so freaking well, y'all. Now I know I could have cropped this. I was just trying to move fast, but so I'm picking one of my favorite pictures of us, and I'm going to go ahead and download that. Now I'm going to go ahead and upload the removed background image into Cricut Design Space. And I'm going to click complex, and I'm going to save this and save this as a print then cut image. Now I'm going to go ahead and click add to canvas, and boom, there's a cute picture of me and my man. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to adjust it into the design the way that I like. Not too big, not too small, but I do want it to feel a part of the design. The only thing that I feel like would have made this better is that if his arm wasn't cut off, but that happens when you remove background. And to be honest, I was just trying to do this design to see if I could actually do the cut out. So the other fine details I really wasn't that concerned with. Now I'm going in and making an offset so that this picture can have a matching offset just like the honey bun words. So I'm going in and adding a 0.083 offset in the color. I'm going to change it to the color white so that it can match the largest offset of the words honey and bun. So now I'm just hiding that rectangle to see how the total design will look when it prints, and just making sure that I really like how it looks this way. Now here comes the part that you've all been waiting for. How do you get the cutout? So now I am grabbing a oval shape here, and I am placing it in the middle of my design. This is what we're going to use to do the cutout. Okay, so I'm lining it in the middle to make sure that it matches up with the middle of my design. This is very important because you don't want your cut to be off center or looking crazy. Okay, so now what I'm doing is I'm dragging this oval cut all the way to the bottom of the design, meaning that it's sitting right on top of the background. Okay, and I resized it so that it looked a little bit better to me. And then now what I'm doing is I am slicing out with the oval the background. Now I'm going to hit my shift button and select the background and the oval together, and I'm going to click slice. This is going to slice out the oval inside of the background. Then we're going to go to the oval that we just cut out and put on our background, and we're going to delete it. We're also going to delete the white oval cutout that we cut out from the background design. So now, as you can see, we have an entire hole in our design, and when it goes to cut out on the Cricut, it's going to cut that because there is nothing there. So now we're going to place the other half of our design, or we're going to place our background all the way at the bottom of our design, all the way to the back of our design, and then I also wanted to add an offset to the actual background, so I added an offset in the color black, and now you see that there's some errors popping up for me. And the issue is that the actual design that I created was a little bit too large to print out and be cut on the Cricut. So at this point, I am trying to figure out, because this is my first time doing the cutout design. So I was playing around with different things. I haven't really watched a bunch of tutorials on this because there aren't really any. So I just was trying to figure this out on my own. So what I'm doing is that I'm taking the offset and the background and I flattened them together. And at this point, I still wasn't sure why it was giving me that error. Because I know that the paper is 8 by 11. So I was like, oh, this doesn't really make sense that I can't cut something that's 8 by 7.5. Because that's smaller than the surface area of the paper. But you have to take into context the spacing that the black lines that have to be printed around, so that the Cricut can figure out what to cut. So now what I'm doing is I'm selecting everything besides the background that I flattened, and that will be the Will You Be My honey bun and the question mark and the picture and all the offsets that belong to each of those items. I'm selecting all of those on the side panel. And it's important that you flatten in different steps, because if you flatten all together before you cut out, then you have nothing to go on top of the cutout. So now I'm flattening all of those items on top of the background that I already flattened. And again, I'm still trying to figure out why I can't print this, because in my mind, again, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And again, I'm new to Cricut and new to Cricut design space, but not new to designing. So I was just trying to play around with different things here and just thinking in my head like what I could do to fix the problem. Here you're going to see me selecting everything so that I can size it down so that the Cricut can print it. And I was kind of nervous because I had already measured it with the design in Canva, and I was hoping that it wouldn't take away the spacing that I needed to use to glue and to use my serrated scissors. And then here, I decide to unflatten. And then with the other items besides the background, we're going to flatten those again and flatten everything together. And here again, I'm trying to figure out why it is not letting me be able to make it. And then I also decide, hey, I want to add an offset to everything besides the background so that it matches the offset of the background and the cutout. So I also add a black offset to everything besides the offset and the background cutout. And here I'm just again trying to figure out, well, maybe if I delete the offset, would it print? And again, I'm going to size this down and get it to as big as I could possibly get it, or as closest to the 8 by 7.5 inch measurement that I already designed, or that I wanted my design to be. So I'm pushing the limits here and pulling it as long as I could possibly get it, because I just wanted to make sure that I had enough space again to glue my glue when I go to put it together, and to have enough extra space so that I can cut off the edges with the serrated scissors. And I feel like I ended up at about 7.8 wide, and I want to say it ended up to be like 6.7 inches long, which isn't that far away from 7.5. And to be honest, it really worked out in the end. The 7.5 inches would have been a lot of extra space for that honey bun. So we made it to 6.7 by 7.9 here. And again, all of my items are now flattened together. And as you can see the grid lines behind the design, which means there is nothing there. So the Cricut is going to automatically cut those areas out because there is nothing in the design there. So we're going to go to make it and print. And you're going to go ahead, and you are always going to use system dialog when you print. You're going to select photo paper if you have that option, best, and you are going to select borderless print. That's what I like to do. It is really important to make sure you have the right settings when using glossy photo paper when printing. It needs to be on the best settings so that your printer can print out the best quality. And now that we are here, I'm going to select my base material, which is going to be photo paper. I typed in glossy first because I thought that would have been a setting, but I'm going to type in photo paper and select photo paper and make sure I favorite that so that I have that for the future. I'm going to use my default, and I'm going to go ahead and put this in the Cricut so that it can be made. So let's see how that went. So now I have my design, and now I am placing some matte tape over the cutout lines. I'm not sure exactly what they're called, sensor lines, but the black lines that print around your design. It's very important when you are using glossy paper that you have to use matte tape, because your Cricut has issues with reading the lines when it's on glossy paper. So that's a really important hack that you guys should know if you are cutting on glossy paper. And as you can see, the Cricut cut it out fine and easy as soon as I put that tape on there. Now we get to assemble our cute honey bun. So I'm just making sure that it fits inside of the design. I have my glue gun and my paper crimper, and I'm going to fold it down. And I'm also going to add a little bit of tape in the middle of that paper so that the honey bun doesn't slide around inside of the design. And I also tape the back of the wrapper so that it would be easier to add the glue at the bottom of the design when I wanted to close it. So I'm just gluing the outside, and then I'm gluing the bottom and the top and pinching it down. Now I'm going to take it and put it in my crimper. And normally I wouldn't do it this way, but I just wanted to see if I had enough space to crimp. And then I'm going to take my serrated scissors and add the finished touches. And this is what it looks like. It's so cute, guys. I love this design. And I did practice these on Dollar General honey buns just in case I did mess up. But look at that, y'all. This is how they came out. I also did a few other designs for my sons. So if you want to see how I did the extra designs and edited this, stay tuned and I'll add that to the end of this video. So here I am going and I already copied the same design and duplicated it, and I'm going to go ahead and find a picture of my first son, and I'm going to add it as a print cut image. And I sped this up just because we already went through the design, and I'm adding my second child as well. And all I did was unflatten the design, and I'm going to place my son behind the words honey bun and their offsets. I'm going to add a white offset for him as well. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and flatten everything besides the background that is already flattened. So it's just really easy, just plugging in different pictures that you want to use for the same design. You're just going to have to unflatten your design and add that picture to the total design. And you'll have a different cutout design. And again, I'm doing the same thing here, adding my son into the design, adding a white offset. And then I'm going to group everything together and flatten that. And then flatten the entire design together. So here you see me adding the extra offset to both the second part of the design. And then I'm flattening everything down. And I really didn't like the Will You Be Mine and how dark it was, but that's how it turned out. If I was to do it again, I would go and fix that part. And here is me. I've already cut my design out, and I wanted to do it again because I didn't like the way that my design crimped. And normally I would crimp my design before I glue it, because when you crimp, after you glue, you get those glue spots, and it kind of just takes the ink off the paper, and it doesn't give it that nice, clean look. So here I'm just going again and adding the glue to the design, closing it up, and pinching down the bottom and the top. It's already crimped. I'm going to go ahead and do it again, place my tape in the middle. Add my honey bun to the middle of the design. Close my design from the top and the bottom. And there you go. We're finished, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and this tutorial, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like this video. ADM Graphics LLC is the name of the channel. Thanks, guys. Bye.